Hey Debbie, what's for dinner?
Oh, I'm gonna make this really fun and silly chef salad with all kinds of yummy ingredients.
Ooh, what kind of ingredients?
Well, stay tuned and find out. Hi, I'm Debbie.
And I'm Courtney.
Welcome to the home of Almost Vegan Cooking School. Today's cooking class is really using 3 American old-fashioned favorites. I grew up in Aberdeen, South Dakota. My first job was a waitress at a diner, and we served all kinds of iceberg lettuce, French fries, and Thousand Island dressing. And today, we're gonna incorporate all of that and pile it on one magnificent plate.
That sounds great. I worked as a waitress in a New Jersey diner.
I never knew that.
Yeah, for about a week, and then I decided to be a lifeguard instead.
That actually sounds like a lot more fun.
It was.
So let's get our potatoes ready for our oven roasted French fries. Now in Colorado or a dry climate, really oven roasting is pretty straightforward, but if you live in a part of the country where there's a lot of humidity, it really helps to do a few more steps to pull that moisture out of the potatoes so we have a nice crisp edge. And I spent a little bit of time in the South this past summer, and I realized that oven roasting is a whole nother ball game in the South, and I think that's why the Deep South does a lot of deep frying. So this is how you start. I'm gonna take an Idaho potato that's already been cleaned, and I'm just gonna cut it in half. I just want 4 wedges. Okay, so now I have a few more wedges, and then I'm gonna come in again and make a matchstick cut. And then this is where uniformity really comes into play, so we can get some even temperature cooking and have those nice crispy edges that we love so much on a French fry. So you may have noticed I left the skins on the russet potato while I was cutting them, and I did that because all parts of this plant are nutritious, so why remove the skin? Plus, it's a lot easier in prepping. Now, it takes a little bit longer to do it this way, and I often just like to put on some music, and of course you have to have a good knife and a chopping board and just enjoy the process. In fact, sometimes I'll do this the day ahead. And I mentioned about humid climates. Now, putting your potatoes in a water bath will help crisp them up. And the reason why is because this water will pull the starch out of your potatoes. In fact, if you just have 30 to 60 minutes, throw in ice cubes on top, and that will help significantly. And it also helps from your potatoes turning brown until we're ready to put them in the oven.
So we're ready to get our potatoes in the oven. We're gonna start by preheating our oven. We're preheating ours to 425 for a convection oven. If you have a conventional oven, I would raise that to about 450. Now these are the potatoes that Debbie just cut. They've been in their ice bath for about an hour. So we've drained them, and now we're just going to pat them dry so get a lot of that moisture out. One of the reasons we want to dry these well is that if you are adding oil, you want the oil to stick, but also if they have a lot of water on them when we put them in the oven, they're going to really steam more than roast. So these are pretty dry now. We're going to add them to our bowl, and we're going to put some oil on these. Now for these, we're going to add a ratio of about half a tablespoon or no more than half a tablespoon of oil for each potato. Once those are coated well, we're going to place them on our cookie sheet. And we do want to make sure we don't overcrowd the cookie sheet. If we have our potatoes too close together, it'll block some of that steam from escaping, and again, they'll end up a little soggy. So our potatoes are ready to go in the oven. We're going to cook them for about 15 minutes Then we're going to flip the potatoes and cook them for another 10 to 15 minutes. You'll have to just keep an eye on those. If you like to salt your potatoes, we recommend salting them after they come out of the oven, and that'll also help crisp them up a bit.
And it's time to make our Thousand Island dressing, which is a perfect salad dressing for iceberg lettuce because it just seeps into all those cracks and crevices. And really, it's just American ingredients. You're gonna have mayonnaise, vegan mayonnaise, ketchup. What gives it that tang are the dill pickles, the red wine vinegar, a little bit of Dijon mustard, and we have some special spices. So I've got everything in the bowl now, and I'm just going to whisk it up. And now it's looking like Thousand Island dressing.
And today we're using store-bought mayonnaise and ketchup, but we have some really good recipes to share with you for some homemade, sugar-free, oil-free mayonnaise and ketchup. We're going to be sharing those in our newsletter, so if you haven't already signed up to receive that, just check out the links below.
I was so surprised when I first started cooking this way too that there are oil-free versions for mayonnaise. I mean, really, it's pretty incredible. I'd like to talk a little bit about our greens tonight, and we are going to be using iceberg lettuce. But as you know, I am a huge advocate of getting dark leafy greens in your diet every single day. But occasionally I love an iceberg salad. It's just so cool and crisp. And this is how we prepare it. Now, if you can, buy organic because there is a lot of water in this vegetable and it just makes a lot more sense. I'm going to remove the two outer layers of the head, usually. Now, this one looks pretty darn good and beautiful. And then I remove this core or outer stem just at the base of it. And then I'm going to rinse it, put it in a colander, and let it drain. And we want to make sure that it drains nicely because when we slice into it, we don't want a pool of water on our dinner plate. Well, the French fries are done and they really came out nice and crispy.
It looks great, and now I know what you meant when you said you're going to pile on all those yummy ingredients. Today we used some chickpeas, some sliced tomatoes, some green onions, some pumpkin seeds, a little parsley, and of course that wonderful homemade Thousand Island dressing.
That just brings it all together. It's like drama in your mouth, I think. And of course you can pile it up and do as many ingredients as you want, like the Courtney version, or you can keep it, you know, a little bit more conservative where everything's in its place. But for me, it is just a great way to enjoy French fries and have a simple, wonderful meal. And it's vegan. We hope you enjoyed our time together.
And if you like cooking with plants, be sure to visit almostvegancookingschool.com and enroll in our online cooking course.